welcome to On Deck with DeRo Arch. I am Eric DeRosset along with Darren Archer as always. Darren, good to see you today.
Yeah, good to see you, D-Row. After a week hiatus for us, I'm glad to be back. And well, people probably aren't glad I'm in front of a camera, but just glad we're able to. Because I definitely have a face for radio, but
Well,
I'm
me
just glad
too.
we're able to get. Where I'm glad we're able to get together and talk a little bit of sports. There's a lot going on in the sports world as we speak.
Absolutely. And I was going to sort of call our viewers' attention to just exactly what all is going on. World Cup Soccer is front and center right now. NBA draft as we speak, as you and I are recording this. Actually, the second night of the NBA draft is tonight. MLB All Star break is looming. It's 2 weeks ish. Uh, Major League Baseball trade deadline. Those talks are heating up, and that happens towards the end of July. The Dusty May, Coach May situation of him leaving Michigan, going to the NBA. There's some proposed changes in the MLB draft that would shake that up. So, just a ton of cool things going on right now in the sports world that make for great conversation. So, I'm going to lead it off this way, and I'm going to give a few World Cup facts. I know you've been following the World Cup probably to a bigger degree than I have, so I'm going to let you chime in pretty quick. But something I saw today said that the World Cup total engagement, whatever that means, is estimated to be 5 billion people. And I don't know how they define engagement, but I'm some sort of viewership, sponsorship, and attendees, and all those things. That number they estimate to be 5 billion people. And we as Americans think the Super Bowl is big, but it does not even pale. It pales in comparison to the World Cup. Before I turn it over to you about the World Cup, in 2022, the U.S. finished 14th in the World Cup, which is probably, I didn't look this up, but it's probably the only sort of team sport thing that the U.S. doesn't dominate or finish near the top in year in and year out. Argentina actually won the World Cup in 2022. The finals of the World Cup is July the 19th. So we have about 3.5 weeks or so still to go to the World Cup. Uh, and just for viewers, and I didn't know this, so I had to look it up. The format of this initial stages of the World Cup is 48 teams. They had 12 pools of 4 teams. And the way I understood it, there was the top two from each pool would advance to the round of 32, along with the top 8 third place finishers in each pool. So starts with 48, they trim it down to 32, then to 16, and so on. So those are the facts and sort of the nuggets about the World Cup that I looked up today. I'm going to just throw it your way and let you sort of fill in some blanks and talk to us a little bit about the World Cup.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge soccer fan per se, but when the World Cup comes around, I kind of treat it like the Olympics. For me, it's must see TV. And I have the luxury of being retired and I'm able to sit around the TV for most of the day when my wife doesn't have a honeydew list rolling for me. But um, I have really enjoyed watching this World Cup. I think with the fact that it's being held here in North America and these preliminary stages are being held in Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And I think if there was ever anybody that questioned what the world's most popular sport is, that's been put to rest this week
Mm.
or these past couple of weeks. And it will only continue to grow and get bigger. Yeah, you mentioned the Super Bowl. There are 6 Super Bowls going on each day, more or less, throughout North America. And it is really neat to see, watch a lot of social media stuff that comes across and just the visitors from other countries that are here for the World Cup um, have really been gracious and really been amazed by their experiences here in America. And I'm sure most of our listeners know what I'm talking about. One of the neat stories is the Tartan Army fans from Scotland, who basically have taken over cities with their kilts and bagpipes. And I think that country is now the adopted country of Boston. Boston
Mm.
absolutely fell in love with the Tartan Army, and it's been really neat. I was watching the Cubs play New York, the Mets earlier today in a first game, and Norway had a lot of fans there,
Mm.
and it's neat to see these different countries' fans flock in to watch Major League Baseball and take in the experience, the food experiences, and just the cultural experiences. One thing that I think may be the biggest hit for visitors, as far as cuisine is concerned, is American brisket. People
Mm.
have absolutely fell in love with brisket, and um, obviously there are some countries that have fallen in love with the American lager choices.
I'm sure of
But
that. Yes.
well, and the fans from Scotland enjoyed it so much that they drank the town dry for a little while. They had to have emergency beer deliveries come in to get it back up and running. So it's been a really neat watching it from afar. Um, my daughter and son-in-law are actually going to Kansas City as this show airs
Mm.
tomorrow night for the Algeria and Austria game.
Wow.
We were able to get them tickets, and they're going to go enjoy that whole experience. It's like I told them, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for them to be able to go, and they're both huge soccer fans. My son-in-law is former college coach, and he's from England, so he's all into it. Um, but there's been some really good matches up to this point. I think the cream is kind of rising to the top, and the stars of the game throughout the world have really stepped up to play and are scoring a lot of goals. Messi, Holland from Norway, Mbappe from France. Um, it's going to be a shootout to see who gets the golden boot, which is the leading scorer throughout the tournament.
Right.
Um, hey, it's going to take a heck of a performance. Uh, Whoever's awarded that award, they will have done something. A lot of history being made. Um, Cristiano Ronaldo
Mhm.
became Portugal's all-time leading scorer, and so just a lot of drama before the knockout stages even begin, and then obviously the hot topic here in the States is the success that the United States men's national team has had up to this point. Now, um, by the time this airs, they will have played last night against Turkey, or Turkey, as they are saying it now. I don't get this change. It's been Turkey our whole lives. All of a sudden, it's Turkey. Czechoslovakia, same thing. All of a sudden, it's Czechia or Czech. I can't even pronounce it. Anyway, it's got me all confused, but um, I'm easily confused, so it may not be a big deal. But the success of the men's national team, they've already secured their spot to move on to the knockout round of 32, and should have a pretty favorable um, draw in order to uh, move on in the knockout round of the round of 16. So a lot of excitement around the world, and focused here in the United States and Mexico and Canada, and it's really neat to watch this, and especially with us being the host country.
Absolutely. Something that sort of came to my mind as you're talking about that, and this isn't political even remotely, um, but our world desperately needs things that unite us. a little bit, and
Yes,
it's cool.
absolutely.
It's cool when sporting events can sort of do that. And what people don't, if you don't follow soccer, like the rivalries there are intense. Like
Oh yeah.
they're like Red Sox, Yankees, Ohio State,
Yes.
Michigan. Like those are the kind of rivalries we're talking about. But it has been cool in this World Cup, and I have kept up with it enough to know that culturally, like there's sort of been this common ground sort
Oh,
of theme
absolutely.
where these cultures these cultures of other countries sort of collide with the United States culture, and it's been really cool to
Yes.
watch. And so, in a time where we need some unity and some things to celebrate and sort of join together, I think the World Cup soccer has provided that atmosphere to do that.
I saw a meme that I shared on my personal Facebook account. Once again, we're not getting on to the political side of things.
No, no,
That's not what we're about. We just want to tell sports stories and
yeah,
um, lend some credence to what's going on in the sports world, and do not want to make this a political type commentary whatsoever. But I saw a meme that I passed on that really made sense. People in the world don't have problems with each other. Where the problem lies is with its leaders.
mm,
And I just thought, man, that's absolutely right. And if it's on I mean, it's on display right now,
yeah,
and good for sport. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's soccer, basketball, what have you, you see the same thing in the Olympics. And
yes,
I think that's why I'm drawn to it. You can kind of throw all the stuff you're hearing on the news and um, all that, and just be glad to be on this earth and watch some great athletes um, get after it in their selected sport.
absolutely. Well said, and it'll be sort of fun to keep up with the World Cup as it continues on, and even sort of like you said, who sort of rises in a competitive sense, rises to the top, and how those matchups sort of play out. And I think even myself included, the U.S. will. Um, our people will be drawn to soccer in a different way, probably than as a whole than what we are now, just because
Absolutely.
we do have that host feel, we do have that connection, we feel like we have some ownership of it, and so it'll be fun to watch. It should be a great 3 weeks here or so coming up. So we'll do our best, viewers, to keep you posted on the World Cup and keep you in tune with what's going on. I'm going to shift gears to the NBA draft. We're recording this show on a Wednesday. So, yesterday, Tuesday, was the first round of the NBA draft. No real surprises there. Top three picks were the top three. Nobody really knew the order, but everybody pretty much assumed who the top three were going to be. No real surprises there. Um, as I'm looking at my notes, and just is super random. The top three, the teams with the top three picks all have a Z in their mascot: the Wizards, the Jazz, and the Grizzlies. So NBA teams, if you
Or
have a Z, if you have a Z
you
in your
heard it
mascot,
here first.
that's right.
On deck with DeRo and Arch,
Yep,
Z's
Z's
are
were
on
bad
it.
news. You were bad.
On it.
That means your team was really bad. So
Yes.
you might.
But you've got a chance to get really good really
That's
quick with
right.
this year's drafts.
That's right. So anyway, sorry for the digress there.
That's
One of the
awesome.
things one of the things it is worth mentioning, and it was said over and over last night, was 9 of the top 10 picks were college freshmen. So we're talking about 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds filling 9 of the top 10 spots. Um, and a little bit of absence of the European player out of that
Yep.
top 10, which has kind of been kind of been a staple for a while. So that was kind of an interesting piece of that as well. Um, I'm going to reference, two or three drafts that I went back and sort of checked out, just that I find interesting. And I'll just go with them 1 year at a time and we'll talk about them, then I'll move on. Uh, the 84 draft, which is Michael Jordan's draft. Jordan was the third pick in that draft. Hakeem Olajuwon was pick number one, which is a really solid number one pick. I mean, he was everything. He turned out to be as advertised. But also in the 84 draft, besides Jordan and Olajuwon, Charles Barkley was the fifth pick, and John Stockton was the 16th pick. So four Hall of Famers there, and the top 16 in the 84 draft. And actually, all four of those are in the top 75 players of all time. So really, really strong draft there. You mentioned pick number two that went before Jordan prior to us coming on air.
Yeah, Sam Bowie from the University of Kentucky
Uh,
was really highly thought of. Had a good college career at the University of Kentucky, but injuries really plagued his professional career. And it's easy for us pundits to sit back and say, "Man, what was, how did Michael Jordan get by him?" Well, Sam Bowie is pretty dadgum good back in college.
yeah, and hey, and that's years and years ago now, but I hate it for Sam Bowie. I mean,
Sure.
because that's every draft year. Every June when the NBA draft rolls around, they drag his name through the mud, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're right. He was a legit 7 footer that was skilled and come out of a highly competitive program. It seemed like he was destined. I mean, it seemed like he was going to be in the same conversation as a center as Elijah was going to
Sure.
be. I mean, that's what
Sure.
it
And
appeared to be.
you take a look back at the history, well, the recent history, probably since '84, and the bigs that have come out have been plagued by injuries, and it has just derailed their career. Greg Odom
Yes.
is probably one of the most heralded, um, draft picks. He was number one coming out of high school, um, and legitimately so, and just had a injury riddled career. And it's a shame that a lot of people will call that a bust to a certain extent. Ralph Sampson, you
Yes.
know, dominant player in college, and had a decent NBA career, but not at that same dominant level.
Right.
And I get what, if you're a team that doesn't have a franchise type center, you got to take a swing at some of those big guys and
Right.
hoping that you hit. You put some wood on the ball, and they end up being a franchise type player.
Yeah. Well, and part of it is the transition, the evolution of the game. But prior to '84, it was the Lou Alcindors and Elvin Hayes and Wes
Right.
Unseld and Jack Sikma. And like that was kind of where you made your money, so to speak, as a
Sure.
team. And so you went and drafted big and you built around them. But I do you can't help but think that the NBA teams, as a result of injured big men, are more reluctant to take a flyer on them, or not even a flyer, even to just take a calculated risk to draft a big. Just kind of the game's different, but I think the
Yeah.
injuries to some of those bigs have also caused them to reconsider, and they go smaller.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
another draft that I'm going to mention is the 1996 draft, and this one, if you're sort of Darren and I's age, these names will just leap at you. Like these names are part of your NBA DNA. If you're sort of from the Darren Archer, Eric DeRossett generation, I'm going to read to you the names of most of the top 17 picks in the 1996 draft. These are top 17 guys. Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker, Kerry Kittles, Kobe Bryant, Peja Stojakovic, Steve Nash, and Jermaine O'Neal.
There's some players there, buddy.
Yeah.
There are some players.
And I don't know. I haven't looked at every draft side by side, but you got to believe that that one ranks up there.
Yeah, as far as the depth is concerned.
Yeah.
All of those guys worked out pretty daggum well for the teams
Yeah.
that they went to,
Yeah.
and for a long period of time, I might add.
Yeah. And they were sort of in the, I mean, I would call the 90s, early 90s, midnight. That, to me, that's the heyday of the NBA.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, and the others would disagree. But so my point with that being, NBA's always been competitive, but I feel like that 90s through there, like there were some high level competitors in that
Absolutely.
group.
And there
It
was some
was
good
not,
ball being played.
yes,
There
it
was some
wasn't
good
for the
ball
weak.
being played.
And
Right.
so for
Right.
that many
Agreed.
guys out of one draft to sort of stick out and to even stick
Yeah.
is just that it's just an eye opening group
Yeah.
that I've read there. So Kobe Bryant as the 13th pick. Who would have thought?
He ended up doing a pretty good job, didn't he? Had a
I
pretty good
think
career.
think he was okay. Yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
My
anyway,
goodness.
yeah, just player after player in that 96 draft. So and hey, viewers, you may know of a better one, and if you do, please
Yeah.
send it my way. I'd love to see it. But that one ranks up there close to the top, I would guess. So
Agreed.
another draft I'm going to mention, one of those what if drafts, 1987 draft, Seattle Supersonics, which is now Oklahoma City Thunder. They drafted. They had the fifth pick in that draft, and they drafted some guy named Scottie Pippen. Okay. Supersonics draft Scottie Pippen. They trade him to the Bulls in sort of a draft day deal. I don't know if it was on the draft day, but for a guy named Olden Polynice, who was a nice player by NBA standards. And they got some draft picks along with that. So Supersonics trade Pippen to the Bulls. And then the Bulls draft with the 10th pick, Horace Grant. And so Pippen and Horace Grant come out of the same draft. Now, where I'm going with this is that was 1987. In 1989, the Supersonics drafted Sean Kemp. Then in 1990, they drafted Gary Payton. So if Pippen isn't traded, Pippen, Sean Kemp, and Gary Payton would have all been on the Supersonics, and they also had a really nice supporting cast during that time. Hersey Hawkins, Detlef Schrempf, Nate McMillan. They were coached by George Karl, who was
Yeah.
innovative defensively. They played the Bulls there one year in the mid 90s and gave the Bulls all they wanted.
Yes.
So throwing it out there for you to give a little feedback on the Scottie Pippen.
Gosh, that I did not know that until you had mentioned it. How would that have changed the Bulls?
Yeah. Yes.
I think it changes them quite a bit.
Lot.
They may get one or two in the span of 6 years, maybe. But boy, I don't know. I don't know if they get any. And all of a sudden, that team becomes Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
Wow. Gary Payton and Sean Kemp were absolutely that it was must see TV
That was
whenever
exactly
they
what I was going
played.
to say.
Oh,
Yes.
and I'm a little biased in this conversation, but daggum, they were fun to watch. And Kemp was 6'9", 6'10", Jordan-esque. I mean, he had that same flair. He could go up in a crowd and just dunk on you and
Yeah.
make you like it. Ran the floor like a deer. Um, and Peyton, um, man, now he was known for his defense, but boy, he could drop dimes
Yeah.
and put the ball right where it needed to be with an assist, and just made it all look so easy. They were fun team to watch.
There's one sequence that sticks out about Sean Kemp. And viewers, if you haven't seen it, you need to go to YouTube and look it up. It'll be worth your
Yes,
time. But
I think I
Kemp,
know what you're getting ready to say. Yeah,
Kemp is playing against Chris Gatling, and Gatling, who was a bona fide NBA player,
absolutely.
blocks his shot. I mean, throws his stuff, and the ball bounces around. Kemp gets it back and just hammers it on Gatling. Gatling falls down, but when he gets up, the two of them shake hands
Yes,
right
yes,
there in that moment, and had this incredible respect
yeah,
for what the other one had just done.
yeah,
It,
absolutely.
viewers, if you haven't seen it, look up Sean Kemp, Chris Gatling. It's a really cool moment.
Yes, agreed.
So worth your time. But yeah, and we've mentioned this before, but the West wasn't super strong in those days. So if if the Sonics add Pippen,
Oof.
like I think they're running the table in the West year in and
Yeah,
year out, with a
yeah,
chance to then win the title, because the balance of power was definitely in the East during those times. So
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
that '87 draft, the Scottie Pippen thing is definitely a what if type
Wow.
scenario. Yeah. I'm gonna throw one more what if at you regarding draft. This is goes back a ways, but it probably talks about you and I, probably our favorite player all time. That's Julius
Mhm.
Irving,
Oh yeah.
Dr. J. Dr. J was playing in the ABA at the time, the American Basketball Association. Um, the Milwaukee Bucks actually drafted him in 1972 with the 12th overall pick in that NBA draft. At the time, Irving was under contract and playing for the Virginia Squires, the ABA team. Um, the interesting thing about this is the Bucks held his draft rights at that time. The Bucks also had some guy named Lou Alcindor, who was later known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they had an aging but still very effective Oscar Robertson. So where I'm going with this is there was a time where the Bucks had the rights to Julius Irving, Kareem, and Oscar Robinson all at the same time. You talk about some must see TV.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
that team would have been fun to watch.
Yes.
However, the story goes on. Apparently, Dr. J had secretly signed with the Hawks, Atlanta Hawks, prior to the draft. Um, all of that eventually ended up in federal court. Um, Irving was required to fulfill his contract with the Squires, um, and the Hawks were fined significantly by the NBA for signing a player outside of the draft. And the Bucks, 3 years later, were awarded some compensation draft picks. So, but my point with all that is that team with Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Julius Erving, that would have been one for the books.
Yes. That gosh, all the what ifs that you have thrown out there today are really interesting. And um that would have been, could you imagine Dr.
Uh,
J, Kareem Abdul Jabbar now, Lou Alcindor,
right.
and Oscar Robertson, who um he averaged a triple double throughout the NBA season. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd have been incredible.
Well, and all of them, I say that. I started to say they were all trendsetters at their position. Kareem, I mean, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain were kind of the predecessors. Kareem did sort of blaze the trail, though, in terms of back to basket post player. I mean, he just
Yes.
threw back to basket. But Irving, in my opinion, defined sort of that swing forward position, like in a way that
Yeah.
still exists today. Uh, Another name that did that as well. He did it more from a two guard spot was David Thompson, George
Yes.
Gervin. Those guys
Yeah.
sort of they defined sort of that swing forward athletic guard type
Right.
position. Gerving or Irving was the trendsetter in that, in my opinion.
Hmm. Agreed.
And then Oscar Robinson was the trendsetter for this point guard play now that we
Yeah.
sort the Magic Johnson, Russell Westbrook
Right.
guys that are just 10, 10, and 10 every night.
Exactly. Yep.
So that Bucks team honestly would have had three guys that were sort of trendsetters in their position.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
yeah, would have been fun to watch. So anyway, those are some draft tidbits. It'll be interesting to see what how this year's draft class, if 20 years and 40 years down the road, if we'll be able to tell some of the same stories.
Absolutely. And one that I can think of right offhand, um, a young man that hails from Missouri, Bennett
Yeah,
Sturts, has been drafted.
yeah,
And I would imagine there's another one on the docket. I'm not going to speak to that, but I will say he played for Arkansas and is from the Springfield area.
yeah,
He will end up somewhere in this second round tonight. So we'll wait to see if that happens. And good for them.
yeah.
Go get that paycheck, boys.
Agree. I am interested to watch the University of Arkansas product that you referenced just now,
Yes,
to see where he
I
falls.
think he's got
Yeah,
tremendous upside, and I mean, and he's been projected to go uh, to fall to San Antonio.
wow,
Come on
wow,
now,
that'd be a
that's what
great
they
fit
are
for him.
missing. That's
Wow,
what they are missing.
yeah, I think he'd be a great fit for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh,
You know, and I've said this on here before. It doesn't matter where you're at with Calipari. Like it does not matter. That that guy, he can coach individual basketball play. Like he can
yep,
take a guy and give him a skill set unique to him that fits his position that helps his team get better. Like
yeah,
he may be as good as anybody out there. He is just making a guy better in his
yep.
own body and giving him his own personality, basketball wise. So
Agreed.
uh, I think Brazil's time with Calipari probably got him rich, if we're just being honest. So,
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
It has polished him
Yep.
to move on and not have to play his way into a team. He's going to have a guaranteed contract, and um, I think he could be one of those we look 5, 10, 15 years down the road and think, God, that was a steal at that point,
Yeah.
draft wise.
Agree. Agree. Anyway, be interesting to see. Do I have it right? Second round is tonight. This is
Correct.
Wednesday. So
Hmm.
by the time viewers, by the time you watch this, round two will be in the books, and we'll know a little more about where players have gone. So anxious to watch it.
You bet.
Switching gears here, Major League Baseball. I'm going to try to not get on a rant here. This is not a rant type show. So if you've watched us before, we're not ranters. And hey, and there's plenty of sports shows out there that are. That's not
Speak
us.
for yourself, DeRo. Speak for yourself.
So I'm gonna start soft here, and I'm just gonna kind of ramp it up here. Major League Baseball, American League. Yankees and Rays are still the best two teams in the American League, record wise. White Sox are first in the AL Central. And I'm going to give you some credit. You've been singing the White Sox praises for a while now.
Yeah, And you know how this hurts me to say it, but I think they're the best team in Chicago right now,
Oof,
and one of the best teams in the American League. Don't
oof,
sleep on this team if they stay healthy. They've got the pitching. They are young and they are playing with some juju right now,
mhm.
and they are fun to watch. They really are, and for being downtrodden for so long,
Yeah,
that's starting to pay off with the draft picks that they've selected and the people that they've obtained through trades and so forth. But don't sleep on Chicago White Sox.
for sure. Hey, give me just a second. I'm going to write that down. Best team in Chicago.
I said it.
Wow.
It hurt me.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I'm sure
I'm
it
just
did.
being truthful.
But hey, kudos to the White Sox because you're right.
Absolutely.
They have taken a beating over the
Yeah.
past few years, and even like some trades that they didn't make that people thought they should have made, and like it's just all worked out for
Yeah.
them. So
Absolutely.
good for them for sure. And then the Mariners are leading the West, kind of anybody's division there in the American
Yeah.
League. Got to feel like the Mariners probably, if all things stay, that they'll go on and win that division. I feel like um, on the National League side, kind of the constants which we've talked about before: Dodgers, Braves, and Brewers. All three of those lead their respective divisions. Cardinals, they continue to compete really well, and they don't just compete; they're competing really well.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And here again, I think they. I don't think they are as loaded, especially on the pitching side, as
Mhm.
Chicago White Sox. But they're kind of the Chicago White Sox of the National League. A bunch of young players. Um, they're missing a few pieces uh, on the pitching staff, both starters and bullpen.
Yeah,
But well, they've got some awfully good bats up and down that lineup. They can play small ball, they can go long, they play station to station, and they've got 5 or 6 guys in that lineup that can steal a bag at any point in time they want. And that's just a tough combination. And I'm happy for St. Louis. You know, even being a Cubs fan, I don't dislike St. Louis. I'm a National League Central guy through and through.
mhm, yeah,
Um, but at the same time, their best ball's obviously ahead of them. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline this year. I don't know if they stay pat. I don't know if they try to pick up an additional pitcher on the fly for the cheap.
right.
Um, their farm system is loaded. I
Yeah,
mean, it is loaded, and probably one of the best outside of LA and maybe the Yankees in Major League Baseball as we speak.
yeah. The Cardinals' dynamic in their lineup, the, the way they swing the word I'm going to use is dynamic. Like
Absolutely.
I mean, they hit it hard, but then they're athletic. You know,
Yeah.
as in terms of running the bases, they're savvy and they're athletic, and I mean, they just kind of get you a little bit
Yeah, they just
offensively.
constantly keep the pressure on you
Yeah.
most nights. They're gonna keep that pressure on you the entire game,
Yes.
and you
And
better play to the third out in the ninth inning. Um, you have to see that through.
for sure. And yes, and you kind of what your point is they're kind of cardiac kids. I mean,
In a sense, they are, yeah, very much so.
they'll win at the last minute
Yeah,
and do it regularly. So
yeah,
I'm like you, not a Cardinals hater.
mhm,
They're not my team per se, but
right,
they are definitely on the up in St. Louis,
yeah,
and didn't see it coming. I
right,
just didn't see it coming. Maybe others
yeah,
did, but
same.
I missed it. So, speaking of NL Central, the Brewers, and I heard this 2 days ago.
Mhm.
So the Brewers are off to their best 75 game start ever. So in their first 75 games of any season. This is the best record they've ever had in that first
Wow.
75. Now, I think that says a lot because they've not only they had some good teams recently, and when I say recently, over the past close to a decade now. I don't
Hmm.
know exactly, but sure. I mean, for sure, 5 to 7 years,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and it may go back further than that, where they've been really, really good. But then go back to the '80s, early '80s, and they had some teams through there that were really, really good.
Yeah.
Power hitters everywhere. Cecil Cooper and Ben Ogilvy and Gorman Thomas and Ted Simmons and Pete Vukovich was pitching for him. And I
Yeah.
mean, that team was loaded.
Right.
Um, and so for this Brewers team to have their best 75 game start ever is significant.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And well, it just seems like we talked about this a little bit off air. Um, you know, when the Cubs stepped in and I don't want to say stole Craig Counsell, but they stole Craig Counsell. They threw a bunch of money at him, and you kind of thought from an outsider looking in that that may be what implodes
Mm,
the Brewers franchise. But man, they just keep getting better,
yeah.
and they do it from a small market aspect. You know, we talked about Tampa Bay um, going about business the way that they do, and keeping that farm system loaded up through trades and through drafts. And Milwaukee's the same way. I mean, they traded away Freddie Peralta, the number one guy on their staff, arguably, with 1 year left on his contract. And that's turned out to be a pretty smart move on their part, and they haven't missed a beat. And um, you take a look back, we at the beginning of baseball season, I think we both shared the common thought that the National League Central wasn't going to be they weren't going to be the worst division in baseball, but they weren't going to be real good. And
Right.
it's turned out to be a pretty good division. Um, and for them to be able to do that in this division, now obviously that's a lot of baseball left to be played.
Sure.
They, for the most part, have escaped the injury bug. Um, but they're the odds-on favorite right now to win the Central and probably going away. I mean,
Yes.
this is one that may be over 2 or 3 weeks prior to the season being concluded in September.
Yeah, I agree. And you and I spoke off the air too about their manager, Pat Murphy, and
Oh
the
yeah,
job that he's done, sort of not missing a beat post
yeah.
council. Uh, he does a tremendous job. He's old school. You can just tell. He has. You and I sort of looked it up. His track record in collegiate baseball is phenomenal. He had incredible success at Notre Dame and then at Arizona State. So definitely they are well managed, well coached, and that takes me to my point. So here we go.
Preach, brother, preach.
And this is why I know the Brewers are good. Okay.
Hmm.
And this
Hmm.
is one snapshot of one game. And like you say, there's 162 games and there's
Right.
plenty of snapshots where it doesn't look this way. Watching the Reds Brewers play the other night. Great ball game. 0-0 after 9. Both teams competing their tails off. It's in Cincinnati, so the Brewers start with a runner on second. Tiebreaker rules. Runner on second. The first batter for the Brewers walks. It's now first and second. Second guy up bunts those two guys up a base. So he lays down a bunt down the third base line. It is flawless. The only play is to first. Now it's second and third, one out. Okay. Next batter for the Brewers, sac fly to right. Runner from third scores. Runner from second moves to third. Next batter, wild pitch. Runner
Ooh.
from third scores. the Brewers don't get a hit in the inning, and they go on to beat the Reds 2-0.
Wow.
Now, I think, and here's where I'm going with this. Well,
Mhm.
I'm going to try not to go too many places. One, I think that inning probably speaks to Pat Murphy as much as anything we could have described about him.
Sure.
Just knowing his past and his success at the collegiate level and what he's done in the bigs to this point, I
Yep.
would guess that has Pat Murphy baseball written all over it. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. That's
Yeah.
just old school. Get that first runner across. Let's put the pressure back on Cincinnati. Yeah,
Yes,
agreed.
and that's what they did. I mean, the walk, the wild pitch, the sac fly, I mean, all those things they made Cincinnati have to execute or not execute.
Right.
Even the fly ball to right, where the runner from third scores, it's a no-brainer, right? But the runner on second advancing
Right.
from second to third,
Yeah.
the right fielder threw in and it was cut. First baseman cut it for the Reds, but there was no play at third. Um,
Yeah.
so, uh, so where I'm going with that is, I think the Brewers do that a lot,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I think they've done that even in the Council era.
Mhm.
They did that a lot,
Yeah.
and so maybe there's a reason why they've been really good for that decade or 5 to 7 years, sort of that I referenced previously.
Oh, I agree 100%. And you got to give their front office credit too. They've made some moves. Um, they're not one of those teams that had to tank to get talent.
Right.
And it seems like if they trade somebody away or somebody signs somewhere else once their contract is up, it's next guy up. And they've made some very good move. I mean, you think about some of the pitchers that they've let walk or traded, um, and here comes another one. Here
Yeah.
comes another one. Here comes another one. And so I think their front office has got to have some credit to this. But kudos to Pat Murphy and his coaching staff. I really thought, man, if there's a year to get them, um, this is the year
Yeah.
for the rest of the National League Central. Obviously, it shows what I know.
Well, and the answer is just, I mean, the, they're just good.
Yeah, they are.
They, and it's kind of like you say, they shift one piece in and plug another one in, and they don't miss a beat. So,
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
the, and I'll keep this quick, but I think that 10th inning against the Reds also shows that they can be formidable in the playoffs and World
Absolutely.
Series, because you and I have talked about this often on here. The bigger the game, the more it seems that teams sort of go back to the basics,
Yeah.
right? So, and the proof of that is extra inning games. Like in extra inning
Right.
games, teams do things in those extra innings in terms of bunt, moving runners over, all that kind of stuff that they don't do in the first 9 innings.
Yep.
And so, if the Brewers can be successful in this snapshot, it tells you in a wild card series or divisional series or whatever, like they have the tools and they have the baseball savvy to play that sort of style that gets them over the hump. So I
Agreed.
think the Brewers are really good, and I think they go about it the right way. So
Yep.
how'd I do on staying off this a rant about my team?
Proud of you. I'm
Yeah,
proud of you.
took
I,
restraint.
they're there for a while. But yeah, you reined it back in. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the Reds frustrated me that night, and I think I did a good job on air here, keeping it together
You and I could probably start another show called Our Pity Party
for
uh,
sure.
throughout the baseball season.
Yeah. I don't know what gives us any right to talk about baseball on air
Yeah,
to
yeah,
anybody,
yeah.
because you're a Cubs guy, I'm a Reds guy. I mean,
Right, right.
take what we say and do the opposite. Probably
Exactly.
is your recipe for success with us in baseball. All right, gonna leave that behind. We're gonna bring this show to a close, but before I do that, we are going to have our hold 'em and fold 'em segment. Um, New viewers, we do this segment every week, where I give Coach Archer 2 or 3 scenarios, and he has to choose whether he's going to hold the premise or whether he's going to fold the premise. I like my I like my work tonight, so I can't wait to hear your answers. So
Oof, that
here we
scares me
go.
already.
Hold 'em or fold 'em. Number one. Okay, one guy gets in the Hall of Fame and the other does not. The premise is Barry Bonds over Pete Rose for the Hall of Fame. Do you hold Barry or do you fold Barry?
Oh, yeah.
Barry over Pete Rose. Only one can go.
Oh, man. I am going to piss some people off tonight. And it doesn't matter who I choose, 50% of them are probably going to be upset. Um, I think I am fold them on Bonds.
On Bonds.
Um, for Pete to do what he did over his entire career to become the hits king, um, that I think speaks to his whole body of work. Now, not to say that Bond's whole body of work wasn't impressive. It certainly was also.
For sure.
I think he's really celebrated for the home run aspect of his game, um, especially the year that he broke the single season record. But that's one snapshot of what he did. So I mean, obviously, in my opinion, both of them deserve to be in.
Sure.
I mean, that's one guy talking. That's my own opinion. Um, I'm sure that there are several that disagree on both accounts, but I would go with Pete Rose.
I share your view. They both deserve to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I, I understand the hesitancies that exist with both. Um, I'm not arguing that. I'm not like, I get it.
Right.
Um,
Agree.
However, what they did for baseball, total package, cannot be denied. It just can't. Their value to the game, our game would not have been the same without Pete Rose and Barry Bonds. Uh,
Yep.
just the facts.
Agreed.
One little thing is that I'm going to throw out about Pete Rose that I don't think would fly in today's generation of ball players is the fact that he played so many different positions in his
Yeah.
career. He wasn't a great defender at any of them, but they moved him from spot to spot to spot to spot for the good of the team in most cases, right? It wasn't to hide him. He played second, he played outfield, he played third, he played first. He made all those moves seemingly, at least as far as we know, with the idea that, hey, our team will be better when we do this. And case in point, they moved Pete from the outfield to third base so that some guy named George Foster could play left field. Uh, it turned
Worked
out
out
to
pretty
be,
well.
yeah, it turned out to be okay. Um,
Right.
but I think with egos and things maybe the way they are now, sort of ask a guy to change positions. The only time they ask him now is as they sort of advance in their career, right? They may move him to a first base or something, DH slot or something like that. Uh,
Right.
they were moving him in the prime of his career
Yeah.
often. And so while that's really, really super small in the whole Pete Rose saga, I think the fact that he changed positions for the better of his team says a lot about him.
Absolutely.
I don't I don't think any guy wanted to win worse than he did.
No.
There was probably some that wanted to win as badly as him, Bob
Right.
Gibson and some guys like that probably come to mind. But Pete wanted to win, and I think he would do
Yep.
whatever it took to give his team a chance to do that. So um, I'm with you, Pete over Barry, but they both deserve it.
Yep.
All right, we have talked about NBA draft tonight previously. I'm going to touch on the 2024 Major League Baseball draft. I'm going to isolate 3 picks out of that draft, and you have to hold one of them and fold the other 2 for the duration of their career. So whoever you think will be the most successful over their career. Okay. 2024 Major League Draft, the second pick was Chase Burns, who now pitches for the Cincinnati Reds. Probably second right now in the Cy Young voting. I mean, he's up there.
Right.
Number 4 pick in that draft was Nick Kurtz, power hitter for the A's. Can hit it a long way. I mean, a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And who's really
Yeah.
7th pick is J.J. Weatherholt, Cardinals prospect who turned superstar overnight. So the premise is you have to hold one of these and fold on 2 of them. Chase Burns, Nick Kurtz, J.J. Weatherholt, all out of the 2024 Major League Draft. Hold one, fold 2.
Well, you've got some doozies today.
Yeah, kind of on top of my game
Okay.
today.
Yeah, and then some, buddy. I am. I'm going to do away with Burns immediately,
Okay.
just from the simple fact that he's a pitcher.
Yeah. Agreed.
If an elbow goes, so does he. So
Yep.
that can derail a really good. And I'm not taking anything away from. I mean, he's
Sure.
been tremendous out of the gate in his major league career. And if he can stay healthy, he's a real deal. I think I would have to go the same. I would probably take Kurtz from the standpoint that he plays first base and the opportunity for injury between first base and say second base or shortstop, wherever they decide to plug Weatherholt in second base right now. Man, that's a tough one. I mean, I initially thought I'd say Kurtz, but man, Weatherholt, he just does so much on the base paths once he's on there. He's playing above his years for sure.
Agreed.
I'm going to go Kurtz. Don't take that wrong, St. Louis fans. I love watching J.J. Weatherholt play.
Right.
He is going to be an absolute star in the future. I put him on that Bobby Witt type player moving forward.
Yeah.
If the franchise can get some people around him, which it looks like they have, he's going to be an absolute superstar. So right now, I would say Kurtz moving forward.
I think I would tend to lean your way, and you mentioned this. Probably Kurtz's percentage chances of shelf life is better than Weatherholt's percentage chances of shelf life.
Correct. Yes. Agreed.
So that's
a
part
great
of
way
it.
to put it.
And then the other piece of that Kurtz situation is a power hitting guy tends to stick around
Right.
a lot longer. A corner guy that can swing a big bat, even if he's hitting 236 or whatever, like he's got a shot, right? I mean, he's probably gonna be given chances, and so I think I don't know that Kurtz is better than Weatherholt, but just those factors probably over the long haul give Kurtz a statistical advantage. Is that a good way to say that?
I would agree, and that was kind of my line of thinking. You worded it much better than I did. I just think there's there's life beyond positional play for guys like him, if that
Yes.
makes sense, i.e., Kyle Schwarber,
Yes.
some of the other guys that are just ripping the cover off the baseball. The guy from Houston,
Yes. Yes.
his name escapes me.
Yes. But
Um,
there's been guys even previous that have just made a living,
sure.
walking out on the field 4 or 5 times a game
Yep.
and not to catch it. So they're just there to
Right.
hit it. So
Exactly.
yes, I think Kurtz's chances to stay in the game longer and be productive are probably better than a middle infielder would be
Right.
for sure.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, hold them and fold them. This is the last one. This is more of a
Okay.
personal preference, perhaps. The Dusty May situation where he left what appears to be a loaded University of Michigan basketball program
Yeah.
to go to the NBA. And hey, there may be other things brewing there under the surface. We're kind of hearing some possibilities of that. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. Bottom line is he left a loaded Michigan team to go to the NBA. So here's the premise. Considering all things, putting all things together, an NBA head coaching job is a better job than a Division One head basketball job. And when I say Division One head, I'm at one of your Power Five
Sure. At a
conference.
major. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the premise is an NBA head job is a better job right now, all things considered, than a Division One basketball job.
Wow, that's a
Hold them
great
both.
question. Man, you had some dingers tonight, buddy. Um, obviously, Dusty May thinks it is,
Yeah.
and I can see his reasoning behind that is he doesn't have to play the game of recruiting, what you're going to pay,
Hmm.
dealing with agents, dealing with all that. He just coaches. All
Yes.
that's taken care of before those guys get to him. Um, I guess there's some um, plausibility in basically his responsibility is just player relations, X's and O's, and making sure the guys get to the plane on time. So I can see that standpoint. But if that were, um, I think if that were kind of the case, Danny Hurley would have left for the Lakers last
Yeah.
year.
Good
You
point.
know,
That's a great
um,
point.
I don't know that there's any right or wrong answer. Me personally, not that I've ever had the had to make this choice,
Sure.
nor will
Yeah.
I.
Me either.
But I would. I mean, there's a whole new set of added pressure at the college game um, that you don't necessarily see at the NBA level. So I would be Fold'em. I would be Hold'em on NBA being a better gig, so to
Yes.
speak.
Right.
I think your opportunities to be fired are probably uh, across the board
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
With so much money being involved in the college game, it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to believe, but there's probably less headaches at the NBA level outside of controlling egos and trying to manage that aspect of basketball and X's and O's. You have that at the collegiate level and then some.
Yeah.
Fundraising, NIL, recruiting year round. I'm telling you, people, recruiting is a grind, a grind. It is nonstop. They talk about dead periods in the NCAA. You're still recruiting. You're just
Right.
limited on what you can do during those dead periods from yesteryear. So,
Right.
um, Yeah, I would have to say the NBA would probably be a much more attractive gig to a coach um, that wants at least a little bit of life outside of a basketball arena.
Sure. Couple things stand out to me. Uh, Sort of gone are the days on the collegiate level where if your kids were graduating and you're running a clean program, like that bought you some time.
That was
Uh,
enough. Yeah,
yeah. I
that
mean,
was
I mean,
enough.
eventually you had to win and be competitive, but
Sure.
like if your kids were graduating, they were good student athletes, and you know, you were keeping it between the lines,
Right.
you had a chance to stick. That's not the case anymore. Those things
No,
just aren't pieces of the puzzle.
no.
Um, and then the second thing that comes to mind is, and I'm just going from the cuff here. Just thinking about college coaches who made the leap to NBA. That hasn't always been guaranteed success.
No.
Calipari did it. I'm 100% sure he did not have a winning record at the NBA level.
No.
Pitino
No.
did it. He did not have a winning record at the NBA level.
Correct.
But, Brad Stevens, it went well for
Yeah.
him. Uh, Billy Donovan, I don't know. I'm not sure what his record was, but he was a mainstream, respected NBA coach. I mean, I
Sure.
think his transition was
And he lasted.
successful. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he lasted. He had
he,
some longevity there.
yeah. And I'm having trouble kind of drawing a blank on other coaches that might have made that leap.
The gosh, his name escapes me, but he left the University of Michigan for the Cavaliers and
Oh,
went like 6 and
yes.
50 something.
John Berline, is that his name?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, something along those lines, folks. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Nope.
I've got old timers disease, and I am showing that tonight
Yeah.
or today
Uh,
as we speak.
but I do know who you're talking about. So
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
Yeah, whatever. I
yes,
can't
yes.
remember his name. Correct. Yes.
Fred Hoiberg, I think, had a little cup of coffee in the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah. He
He
did.
went from college to NBA and then back to college.
Yeah.
Anyway, drawing a blank on others, but
Yeah.
the success rate just hasn't been just off the charts, I think is the
Right.
point I'm
Agreed.
making. So it will be interesting to see how that translates for Dusty May. So all right, well,
Man,
you
Dero,
survived.
Dero, Dero, buddy.
Good stuff,
Barely.
right?
My head
Yeah.
is about to go.
Well, I'll try to keep working on those things and
Those were some good ones tonight, bud.
keep it challenging, man. Love it. Love it. Makes for great conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, with that being said, we have sort of given you a lot to consider and think about in terms of just sports and things that are like on pulse, on cue right now. So, viewers, if you're not plugged in to something sports wise, or you just need a release from sort of just everyday humdrum life and you need an outlet, there's some great sports things going on right now. We'd encourage you to check it out. Darren, it's been good being with you tonight.
You bet. As always, I appreciate it and appreciate our viewers and listeners. If you would give us a follow on YouTube, uh, our Twitter or X handles are scrolling at the bottom on the ticker, and um, we've also have a um, Facebook page. Be sure to join us there and follow us. And we try to keep information as we get it, not only in the state of Missouri, but throughout the United States and just sports in general. And a lot of neat things going on in the state of Missouri right now, sports wide and the United States.
Absolutely. Again, I'll reiterate the importance and the value that we put on our viewers. We appreciate you guys' support and just checking us out and listening to a couple of guys talk sports. So thank you
Yep.
for being in our corner and checking us out week to week. We do appreciate that. Um, in the coming weeks, I've been working on a little about a center fielder from the Detroit Tigers from the 70s. His name was Ron LaFleur. Has a
Mhm.
great story. So if you don't know about Ron LaFleur, you might check out some of the details before I expand on that. But sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to fill you on the Ron LaFleur story. Story how it went from a kid who was struggling and made some bad decisions to a life in the major leagues, and some of the people that impacted him along the way. So be watching for that in the next couple of weeks. But with that being said, I'm going to bring this one to a close. Darren, thanks for joining us tonight.
You bet. Appreciate you, brother, as always.
Yep. Viewers, thank you again for Eric DeRosset, or for Darren Archer. I am Eric DeRosset, and you have been watching On Deck with DeRo and Arch, and we will see you next week.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.